Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, my name is Tori. I'm a retired massage therapist, full-time stay-at-home mom, and a lover of functional exercise. This video is going to be the fourth video in my series on healing diastasis recti. If you haven't done so already, you're going to want to save this video and subscribe, and then go back and watch the first 3 videos in this series, because that's where I really dive deep into what diastasis is and is not, and how to heal your diastasis without exercising and stretches to help with your diastasis. In this video, we're finally going to get to 4 beginner-friendly exercises to heal your diastasis. Now, in my last video, I spent some time explaining the importance of disassociating your arm and shoulder movements from your rib cage. So all of the level 1 exercises that I'm going to be showing you in this video are going to serve as wonderful shoulder mobilizers. And then the level 2 and 3 options will progress to greater core strengtheners. Now, how you breathe is integral in any exercise, but especially when we're talking about wanting to heal our core and diastasis. So I want you to move slowly enough so that you can practice the 360 breathing that we've talked about in my previous video. And if this type of breathing is newer to you, feel free to grab a resistance loop and put it around your rib cage so that you can get that feedback on that expansion of your rib cage. I'm going to be demoing all of the movements with a resistance band around my rib cage so that you can see what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and begin with our first exercise, the lat pullover. To begin, lie flat on your back or bolstered if you need to keep your ribs down with your legs bent at 90 degrees. Now grip your yoga block or weight that's 10 pounds or lighter in your hands and extend it straight up toward the ceiling. On the inhale, and without arching your back or flaring up your ribs, begin to lower your yoga block or weight overhead. Only lower as far as you can while keeping your elbows from rotating outward or letting your ribs lift up toward the ceiling. If your shoulders are tight, your elbows may want to poke out to the left or to the right. I want you to rotate your shoulders in so that your elbows point towards your toes. If you have a resistance loop on hand, you can even place that just underneath your elbows for a little tactile feedback. As you exhale, return to the starting position. The lat pullover is a dynamic core exercise that allows your abdominals to really respond to the load that is being placed on them. As you continue practicing this exercise, you will become more familiar with the feeling of the muscles engaging. You'll be able to ditch the props and you'll just be able to engage the muscles. Starting in your journey in abdominal recovery and strength, then I do recommend that you start without weight and really focus on mobilizing your shoulders. If you find that as you perform this movement that your rib cage flares up or you get an arch in your low back while you're lying down on the floor, then I want you to bolster your shoulders up like we discussed in our previous video. Then as you progress in this exercise and you are able to add weight by keeping your ribs down, then you can go up to 10 pounds or more, but really make sure that you maintain that integrity of alignment. That is so important for safety, for avoiding any kind of injury, but then also getting the most benefit from the exercise as we're wanting to strengthen our core. Now, the next move that we're going to practice is the halo with the option of a twist. If you're practicing the level 1 option, you will not be using any weights. Instead, I want you to clasp your hands together like this. As with other exercises, the goal is to keep our rib cage down and to limit the movement of our rib cage. Clasping your hands together like this will expose any tightness that you still have in your shoulders. If your shoulders are too tight to perform this entire halo without minimal movement from your ribs, go ahead and practice this movement with the yoga block. This will give you a slightly wider space to perform the halo, which will make it a little easier to keep everything in alignment. Articulating your spine like this is a wonderful option for spinal mobility, which is also important, but we're trying to protect our linea alba for the sake of healing our diastasis, so keep that rib cage still. As you advance even further in this exercise, you may even choose to add a twist that will incorporate the internal and external obliques as well as your transverse abdominis, making this a well-rounded and dynamic abdominal exercise that works the full girdle of your waist. It's important to not add any weight or twist until you have begun to regain core strength and close the gap of your diastasis. Next up, we have the reaching side angle pose from yoga. Begin with your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart and turn your right toe out toward the right wall and your left foot points straight forward. Come down to a warrior 2 lunge by bending your right knee to about a 90-degree angle. Now I want you to practice shifting your rib cage side to side like this. The shifting movement is really important for the health of our spine. After you've shifted your ribs, I want you to reach toward that right side as far as you can without jutting out your hips. When you cannot reach any further, I want you to kind of windmill your arm up, maintaining that reach, almost like your left arm is a hand on the face of a clock. This is a great place to pause and you'll still get plenty of work. If you need to modify, gently rest your lower arm on your thigh. The level 2 option is to reach the lower arm out to the side like I'm showing here. Level 3 is to reach both arms forward, and level 4 would be to add weights 5 pounds or less to the reach. The final move that I want to show you is the kneeling hinge. Begin kneeling on your knees, and you can either place your hands at your hips or extend your arms straight out in front of you. With each exhale back, I want you to think about the gap of your diastasis closing and every point of your abdominals and your lowest abdominals that you can possibly imagine in your pelvic floor, everything coming together in the center to your navel and then slightly lifting up. The kneeling hinge requires a similar response to your core as the lat pullover does, because the further back you hinge, the greater core engagement is required. This dynamic exercise requires incredible core strength as well as gluteal and hamstring engagement. When you're first starting out, you may not hinge very far back, and that's okay. I want you to prioritize alignment over impressive looking movements and safety over vanity. Those are the 4 beginner exercises that I have for you guys when it comes to regaining core strength and tone postpartum or just in healing your diastasis. But I have a bonus tip for you. So generally speaking, when it comes to diastasis, newly postpartum, anything like that, you want to avoid putting excess pressure on the linea alba. We talked all about this in my very first video of why you can't fix your diastasis, the truth about regaining core strength and muscle tone. Since we want to avoid putting excess pressure on our linea alba, generally speaking, we don't want to be in a quadricep position. Having said that, if you are YouTubing videos or anything like that for core exercises, you are probably undoubtedly going to come across someone saying, don't do crunches, which you shouldn't be doing crunches, it's bad on your back. And if you have diastasis, then yeah, you absolutely do not want to be doing crunches. But they'll be like, oh, well, you want to do planks, or you want to do bears, or you want to do beasts, or anything like this that has you in a quadruped or plank position. Now, these are excellent exercises and they are designed to challenge your core, which is obviously what we want to do, but it's just a bit advanced for diastasis. But I wanted to go ahead and explain to you guys how you can safely practice some quadruped positions even with diastasis. So we're going to begin on our hands and our knees. I'm going to back up a bit. As is the case with everything, it comes down to alignment, okay? It comes down to making sure that when you're on your hands and knees, that your shoulders are properly stacked over your elbows, over your wrists, that your hips are over your knees, and that you're not having an excess tilt in your low back like this. If you have what is called an anterior tilt in your hips, like I'm demonstrating right now, you increase the curve in your low back, you're compressing your spine. You also have 0 core engagement right here, absolutely none, and gravity is placing an excessive load on your linea alba. You don't exactly want to tilt up like this either, because you're coping. This is a coping mechanism. You want to have a neutral pelvic alignment. The next thing I'm going to tell you, which we've been talking a lot about in this series, is where our ribs are. You don't want your ribs arched up. You don't want them hunched down. You want them in a neutral position so that the core canister is in the most geometric safe position for your abdominals to engage. And from there, if you're just beginning, if you're newly postpartum or in the beginning stages of your core rehabilitative journey, you should just be practicing maybe your 360 core canister breathing here. I still have my band on to show you. Hopefully it comes through in the video. But just big exhale. Big, oh, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Big inhale. And big exhale. There you go, guys. These are the 4 beginner exercises that I have for you in healing your diastasis that you've probably never seen before. Now, if you would like to follow a step-by-step program that would actually walk you through how to fix your diastasis, but also if you have any other kind of body pain issues, such as maybe shoulder impingements, back pain, hip pain, anything like that, I will leave a link in the description box below to my favorite functional exercises that you can stream right from home. This streaming service offers step-by-step programs to healing things from core and back pain, hips, glutes, ankles, feet, and it is actually created and taught by a chiropractor who got tired of the broken medical system and not being able to actually help his patients, so he went out and he created his own program. It really centralizes along doing proper movements with proper alignment so you get the most out of your exercises and you can actually live a pain-free life. So I will leave a link in the description box below for that, and as always, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe and ring that notification bell so you know the next time I drop a video.